2025 Big Sur Marathon. This one's kicking off on April 27th of this year. Before we kick off into the details of the pre-race and the course insights and tips for everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Some of these pictures that are rolling by here on their landing page are exactly what you're going to get on race day. Could be sunny, could be rainy. It's definitely going to be windy, and we're going to identify some areas where that's going to happen and what to do on race day. So scrolling on the main landing page, you can scroll down, you get a lot of really good info just right out of the gate here. Course details at a glance, you get the date, time, elevation, finish elevation, you get the total gain, total loss. They've listed it as officially 2180. Ours is a little bit lower than that, but you can kind of get the gist there. And then you get some other really, really cool things you can click on. It brings you around their website very, very easily. First thing that we are identifying is the expo and packet pickup are the ever so important thing. So on Friday, it's actually located on Monterey Convention Conference Center, if I could speak. Holy cow. April 25th happens at noon to 6. Saturday the 26th, it happens at 9:30 to 6 p.m. And again, if you are picking your packet or for someone else, you need to fill out the packet pickup authorization form. It is clickable right there. You're going to be able to do this about 2 weeks prior to the event, and you can click there for more instructions on how to do it. It does it. It walks you through it. It's pretty simple. Just follow along. Again, fitness or expo info. Again, it lists exactly what we talked about earlier, and then it also lists that you're going to experience a full day of free race clinics that do begin at 11 a.m. I would expect the full expo schedule to come out in the next couple of weeks here. Maybe keep an eye out on your account. I'm sure they're going to be peppering you with all kinds of useful info as the weeks get closer to our race. Next up, this is the marathon landing page. You can view the course right here, and that is going to be pulled up in a second for us. But I wanted to scroll down and just talk about some of these things really, really quick. Start time 6:45. There's a course time limit. So they do have to reopen the roads. It is a hard and fast cutoff. There is no real exceptions there. And it is what it is. If you are worried about hitting that 6-hour mark, they suggest that you do transfer to the 21 mile or some of the other races that they do have there. We do have communications, confirmation, training programs to start the course. We are going to do that in just a second, but I wanted to hit the aid stations first. Aid stations are going to have noon water refill stations for your personal bottles, portable donjons, first aid stations. They're going to have goo energy gels available at mile 12.2 and mile 19 even. Fruit is going to be available at the later aid stations with the super popular strawberry station at mile 23.2. Other aid stations are located below, so these are not going to have the goo, but they are going to have the noon. And you can click that, and you can get a really good idea of what you need or going to experience on race day, calorie-wise and electrolyte-wise. Aid stations are listed right here. Scrolling down here, the awards, the overall awards, top 5 male and female finishers, they are going to be based off of gun time. The divisional age group awards are going to be based off of chip time. All right. And you can email them and get more info on that. They do have special division awards, and then the course records here. These are important to talk about because, let's just do it. Brad in 1987, a 2:16, and Svetlana in 1996, a 2:41. So these course records are not setting the world on fire, and that is largely because of the course factors, elevation, the weather conditions. All of those have to really match up, and you got to have a great day out there on top of that. So really popular course, but a lot has to go right for you to have a personal best out here. Bus transportation, and we'll skip that for a second. iPods and audio devices, iPods kind of dating, but audio devices, they strongly discourage you from using them because it limits your safety, and that is what they believe. This is the course info description. It is certified. It is a USATF certified. It's a World Athletics certification as well, and it's also a Boston qualifier. Again, that course time limit is 13:45 per mile, and it is that 6-hour cutoff. So make sure you choose the right one, and they talk about how you can choose the right group that you want to be in for race distance. So if you want to skip to the 21 miler, you can do that instead if you are experiencing mile times that are greater than that 13:45 in your training runs. Um, and yeah, that's about it for that. Future races, this one's on the 27th, April 26th next year, April 25th and 27 on the April 30th and at 2028, April 29th and 29 and April 28th and 2030. I thought that was really cool. No other race really does that. This is our starting area map. This is the corrals that you are going to get into, but backing up a little bit more here, make sure you do check out the race day transportation page, how to get there. This is the marathon one, and this is what we are going to be talking about. This is what it pulls up. Um, when you do click that. And I'm going to try and get all of this in here for you because we have locations A through G right here. And you can pause the video right here and you can read who these locations are ideal for and when the pickup times happen for that. You can see that most of these pickup times happen from 3:30 to 3:30 to 4 a.m. Some of them do only happen 3:45 to 4 a.m., so it's a little bit tight in there. I would advise you to get there a little bit earlier, and yes, this is a early wake-up call, so that means the day before you have to plan a little bit more ahead of time. You've got to have more of your ducks in a row. But it should be doable. It's the best scenic or the largest scenic marathon, I believe, is what they said off the top of my head. I believe that's right. But the 21 miler and the 11 miler transportation, this is also the clickable map that you can get. They do have lodging and transportation maps as well. So make sure you head over here. And you can select your preferred pickup location in March, so right now, through your participant account. So make sure you do go to some of these places, click these links, and it will take you and walk you through some of these steps here. And this is our pickup locations again, and this is our starting corral here. So once you do get picked up through the shuttle services, and it's highly encouraged that you do that because runners are they're not going to be allowed to have private vehicle drop off at the corrals over here. There's just too many people going on, so it's really suggested that you do that unless you're staying in that area. So Corral A, B, and C, here we go. They all have the different things that you need. So for instance, Corral A, these purple markers are toilets. We got them in A, we got them in B, we got them in C. The hydration and coffee stations happen in every aid station. They're a little bit different. And then they might not be exactly where they're marked on race day. They might be a little bit different, but they are going to be in every single spot. VIP areas are located right here, along with specialty toilets just for you. Hooray. But something to note, Corral C, the gear check area is located right here. It's a little bit off to the side. A is a little bit more straightforward. And B, you are also off to the side over here with your gear check. Start times. Marathon starts at 6:45 here. And it's going to start with wave A, followed by wave B, and then C, or Corral A, B, and C. So pretty straightforward there. So going to our course here, this is the course that pops up when you do click some of these links. This is pretty much what you're going to get. This is a smoothed out map. We're going to go to a more detailed map in a second, but before we do that, this is our wind finder for everyone here. This is located on Big Sur, so you're going to be running up north over here. And I just wanted to click over some of the days so you can see exactly what you're going to get out here. First, try to get rid of this ad. All right, so on Friday, the wind is going this direction. Saturday, and then we've clicked 5 a.m. It's pretty much the opposite. Sunday, a little bit lighter, same direction. Monday, flips again. Tuesday, flips again. Wednesday, goes in the complete opposite direction. And then Thursday, again, it's pretty much what you're going to get. I would expect it to be something like this on race day. It's going to be pretty much a headwind, 19, 15 miles an hour of headwind, and you're going to experience that really aggressively in some spots over here. Another example why the race can not go to have the outcome that you want. And not to say that it can't. I mean, the weather could line up perfectly for you, and you could get a tailwind the entire time. I would wager a guess that's not going to be the case. I would expect something like this on race day, unfortunately, but you have the great views, you got the great atmosphere. It's a race that many, many, many people get it or try to get into, and it is on a lot of bucket lists for a reason. You'll see when you get out there. So the marathon course, this is what you get. Start is down here. The finish is located way up here. This is where our transportation pickup areas were. They'll bus you down. Starting off, you do have a slight decline. It ramps up slightly again. You have the big hill that everyone talks about, huge downhill right here, and then you are mixed with some rolling hills and some flatter sections back here. This is what the more detailed map looks like here. Again, some of these areas look a little bit choppy just because the GPS jumps. It's not going to look like this on your profile or on race day. It's going to be a little bit smoother for you out there. Hitting back up here, I wanted to kind of pull this back here and bring these aid stations back here. So as we go through these, just make sure you keep this. Pause this if you want to. Mile 2.5, 4.8, and the list goes on there. And we can get rid of that now. On race day, things are going to be a little wild, especially to start here. Again, keep in mind that this isn't super, super accurate to the T, but then again, neither is this. Our map shows about 1,800, 1,900 feet of elevation gain, so pretty close to what you're going to get on race day. Course sections can be broken down in a couple of different areas in my mind. The first one to start here, the second one to ramp up, I would classify this as a really, really important section right there. Obviously, our big hill is a section, and then this downhill area is just the recovery spot. I would actually put this section right through here, second to last section here, and then our last section to the finish line over there. So let's identify what to do in this first section right through here. All right. When we first start out, we do have a downward trend over here. You saw that on the other map beforehand. People are going to be, let's call it out of control. There's going to be a lot of people there. Initially, you might not be able to run the race that you want. You might be trapped into running a pace that's too fast for you. You might be trapped into running a pace that's too slow for you. The name of the game in those first mile-ish is just to find your spot where you can run your race. Your race is not a minute faster per mile than what you normally do in training. Your race is exactly what you're doing right now. And if you look down and you see your power, your pace are way, 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 way high, you need to pump the brakes a little bit and just kind of respect the course. Additionally, starting out, some of those winds, you're not really going to feel it. But as you progress closer to the ocean, those winds are going to start to pick up here. And during this stretch right here, which is a very, very large stretch, you're going to experience those winds big time. And if we go through on the map, that's going to be from about, let's call it mile 9 all the way through to about 24. So pretty much for the majority of the race, the most important miles of the race. So these first couple of miles, 3 miles here, have an increased importance. The importance should be to run your pace, start fueling if you can, if you're bringing something, and just really watch out and don't overdo it in these first miles. This is where most people get it wrong, because in section number 2 here, right here, let's call it this section here, if I can get my stuff to work. Section number 2, this section here, we do have a slight incline in terrain, and if we were to switch back on the official map, you can definitely see that as well here. But kicking up, this one lasts to about mile, let's call it about mile 9. This section is where you start putting your recipe together for a great race. This is going to be where you are running your pace. You're not going to start getting out of control. The terrain is going to start to get at you. As you get closer, right, you're running up inclines, and you're getting closer to that ocean. As you get closer to the ocean, winds are going to start coming at you. If we go back to our wind, right, this is what you're going to get right about here. You're going to really experience those headwinds. Headwinds can slow you down. If you're a power user, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're running by pace, of course, you'll know what we're talking about as well. And another mistake that a lot of people get as they get closer and closer to the water here, the great views, they lose sight of what they what they're used to, right? And they kind of just are focused on, I have to hit my number, I have to hit this number, this is my number for the race. And if the wind is blowing at your face at 15, 20 miles an hour, I'm here to tell you your pace needs to drop a little bit. You have to respect this course a little because it's going to come and get you. And it's not going to come get you at this big hill. Everyone's expecting that. It's going to come get you a little later on. Um, so just respect the course and just pay attention to what's going on. Very common for longer distance triathlons for people to kind of turn their brain off. This is very, very true for these first 9 miles. Everyone's happy. It's great. It's awesome. Then you hit the ocean. You're seeing everything. Sights are great, and your brain is off. You're not really paying attention to what you're doing. And then you get to the top of this hill at about mile 12, and then things go haywire. So don't let that happen to you. Constantly be in the moment. You can take everything in. You could be walking or looking around. You could be, doing your thing, but you need to be there to do your work. So pay attention. When you hit mile 9, you are slowly going to go downhill here. These gradients are, let's call them about 4% in some places, but you're going to experience a lot of negative 3% here. So this is going to load your quads up if you're not careful. Let gravity kind of do the work here. Self-explanatory, of course. But again, don't overdo this section. If you find that you are really going fast here and you're having to put the brakes on and just really control yourself, then this hill coming up is not going to feel great. You are going to experience that kind of overpass, that bridge thing during this section right here. And again, it's another distraction. You're not going to be paying attention. Everything's going to be great, and you're doing it. It's awesome. And before you know it, you've overdone it, and you're about halfway up this climb, and you're blowing out. So up this hill here, this hill it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be the easiest of hills out there in a marathon. Probably one of the more difficult that you're going to have to do. It lasts from about mile, let's call it 9.8, 9.9, and lasts to 12. So you have a couple of miles here that you are going uphill. And that's doable. Most people have run on a treadmill before, and it's going to be just constant like that. It's not going to be steady. It's going to be a little bit rolling, a little bit gradual, a little bit aggressive, but it's going to be a constant bite on you. What gets most people, believe it or not, is the downhill afterwards. So from mile 12, we do have let's call it 2 more miles of downhill. This is the part that everyone is not focused on, and that's the part that we just talked about and leading up to this hill right here. Um, but this hill is probably one of the most important sections out on course, and we'll just highlight it for everyone so everyone can see it. That is probably one of the most important parts of this race. People are going to fly down it, and initially people are going to be having a blast, but it just continues longer than most people are accustomed to, right? Most people don't have the availability to run down 2 mile hills at their location. So when you do this, you really have the potential to kind of overdo it, and you won't notice it initially. So be careful, watch out. And I know I've said that a bunch, but this is a huge, huge area of your race. Huge, huge area. After you get through this section here, you will experience some rolling uphills, rolling downhills, more terrain that most people are used to running on a regular basis. But if you've overdone it in this downhill section here, that's going to be very Boston-esque right here, but it's just going to add up very, very quickly. Not like Boston. This is reverse Boston. This rolling section through here, this is kind of where this is going to be where you can put your stamp on the course big time. This stamp is not happening here. It is happening here, just to be clear. Again, you are going to be experiencing a headwind, crosswind, tailwind. It's going to swirl the whole time through this section. So make sure you are fueled up and ready to rock and roll. In my mind, right, you get through these first couple of miles, you slowly establish yourself pace-wise here. You just get down this section as easily as you can. You get up this hill here as best you can. You are very careful running down this stretch here. Double square for you for the importance. Very, very careful running down that hill, because these next ones, you're up, you're down. This is going to be where a lot of people are cramping, and this is going to be where a lot of people are falling off. So if you are held together here and you have made it here at a realistic time for you, more than likely you're going to be passing a ton of people here. I will say, watch your form here. A lot of people forget it. A lot of people just say, okay, I'm going to get to that 20-mile marker, and now I only got 6 miles left. Hot dog, I can do this. So watch your form here, and don't forget about nutrition, pacing, and all that. A lot of distractions start to come in at the last couple of miles here. You got the special aid station through there. You got the goo station there, and then it's just a giant party as you get there, and everyone kind of again turns off their brain. You can't forget about these last couple of hills. They are going to get you. If we do slide over to the official race course, they do place more of an emphasis on some of these hills here, and for good reason. You are dropping down overall, elevation wise here, excuse me, but you do have some hills that are going to continue to bite at you again here. So that's our course. If you want more individual, if you want an individual breakdown for yourself, feel free to reach out. Happy to go through a little race plan for you individually, specific to you. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything, please reach out to me. More than happy to talk to you on an individual basis, everybody.